What's the point of the plane if you don't know how to fly it? Yeah, I'm out here grinding. Okay, I'm out here grinding. All I do is work. All I do is grind.
What's up, gang? Happy Friday. And I want to talk about today no excuses and how to become a go-to player. And so let's start off with the latter. Let's start off with how to become a go-to player. So in leadership, you know, this could relate to a couple different things, but I'm going to talk specifically about some things that dawned on me in my business that I think correlates to a lot of things in life. But how do people become go-to players, whether it's in a staff position or, you know, in business, a leadership position or whatever? And it to me, it boils down to the ones that become go-to players. Two qualities stand out. One is that they take on tough tasks. So it's almost like they volunteer to take on tough tasks, to take things off of your leader's plate, because it's almost impossible for you to be successful if your leader's not successful, or you to be great if your company is not great. You know, for example, a high school team that wins a state championship probably is going to get more notoriety for recruiting, for colleges to come and recruit some players, and maybe they get scholarships that maybe another player's equally or even a little bit better, but they weren't recognized because their team wasn't winning. And so I think you got to focus on your team winning, and that means doing what can you do for your leader. And I think leaders got to turn around and think, well, how can I serve my people? And the management or the leadership has to look up and say, well, how can I help my leader? Because that's going to make you win. And so becoming a go-to player, you got to be able to take on hard tasks, almost volunteer for them, and say, all right, I'm going to take on this stuff. Because what it does is it earns you respect from the leader and people looking at people around you, but it also teaches you lessons and tests, because some of the hard stuff is what weeds out the weak. Those are the things that kind of weeds people out, and you want to put yourself through that and prove that you could be a go-to player. The second thing in being a go-to player is that you step up consistently in crunch time. And, you know, crunch time could be there's a deadline at the office. Crunch time could be that there's a certain goal for production. Crunch time could be in sports, you know, it's 4th and 2, you know, from the goal line. But you gotta be dependable and reliable in crunch time in order to be a go-to player. And so, you know, ask yourself, have you been reliable and dependable? Things happen in life. It don't always work out perfectly, but more often than not, have you stuck to your commitment? More often than not, have you stuck to your word? Would people say that you're reliable? Would people say that you're dependable? Can they feel like they could pass you the ball and they don't have to look back? They already know it's going to be a touchdown. They already know it's going to be a game-winning shot. And so I think you got to have key go-to players. You know, what stands out to me, I remember reading a book about Michael Jordan, about when he turned the corner to being great. You'll remember him hitting passing the ball to Steve Kerr, hitting a three-pointer, you know, to win the game, and being able to dish the ball. And it came from his teammates earning his respect and him being able to trust in them to be able to pass a little bit more, to not feel like he had to take over. You know, sometimes he felt like he had to take over because people weren't reliable and weren't dependable. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you got to live a no excuse life. I think Maxwell said it's easier to go from failure to success than it is from excuses to success. You can't be successful if you're going to make excuses. There is no excuses. They're always available. But winners and champions don't make excuses. And so we got to figure out a way to accept responsibility and make zero excuses. Somebody else out there is getting the job done. Somebody else under the same circumstances. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult, but somebody under the same circumstances. So flat tire, no excuse. No excuses. You got kids. Somebody out there is dominating your industry with children. You're married. Somebody out there is dominating your industry, married, and they have a successful marriage and a successful relationship. Whatever it is, there can be zero excuses if you're going to be great. If you want to be special, you have to remember this, because our mind is programmed to find solutions. And so we're going to keep thinking, we're going to keep finding solutions until you tell your mind that you found a solution. Your mind's going to stay active. But when you feed your brain an excuse, it shuts down, and then you just accept that excuse. And the more you accept excuses, the closer to failure you become. And so I want you to audit right now, you know, what things have you been making excuses about that you can have no excuses? What are those things that have been holding you down, that's bringing you closer to failure? And I challenge you to take responsibility and get closer to a level of success, because you're making no excuses. And then I challenge you to look at hard tasks that your leader needs done. Can you step up for that individual, him or her, and become a go-to player? Can you be reliable and dependable the majority of the time to become a go-to player? Those are some of my challenges for you. And so to kick off this weekend, understand that positivity is a choice. Stay positive in a world that is pulling people down with negativity. Stay positive. No weapon. Don't let anybody control you. Anybody control your mind. Anybody control your heart. Don't let anybody control your spirit. Don't let anything going on around you cause you to stay down. You got to get up. You know, I heard somebody say, if you could look up, you could get up. And so you got to look up and get it cracking. And so if you know anybody that can benefit from this video, please share. Also join the G.R.I.N.D movement, SimonArias.net, for motivational and educational messages, a couple minutes every morning. And then let's link up on social media to let's change the world together. I'm going to be trying to get feedback from people on what I can do and what people need me to talk about, speak on, what I can do to give this world some of the knowledge that I've gained. I don't feel that I'm perfect. I don't think that I'm better than anybody else. I just know where I came from and where I'm at now, and the knowledge and wisdom that I've gained. I'm going to continue to work on myself and get more knowledge and wisdom. But the knowledge and wisdom that I've gained thus far, coming from where I've come from, I know there's people that can benefit from it. And once you walk through the door of opportunity, I think it's important for you to not close that door, for you to go back and help other people. And so that's the mission right now. So support the movement. Let's change the world. Have a great weekend.
To subscribe to SimonArias.net, follow these simple steps. Go to SimonArias.net. On the homepage, scroll down to the bottom. Where prompted, enter your first name along with your best email address and click Join G.R.I.N.D Messages. Thanks for watching.